What's going on, Colts Nation? I'm Lawrence Owen. This is Colts Law, and it's time to discuss contract extensions. When's the best time to re-sign Darius Leonard? When's the best time to re-sign Braden Smith? How about Nyheim Hines? We'll get into that right after this.
All right. So I guess now you understand what the plan was.
Absolutely. At Colts Law, we talk Indianapolis Colts football.
We're going to stick to what we know, fundamentals and technique, 1% better every day.
What's going on, everybody? Hey, I thank you all for showing up. Alpha Tina, see you there in the chat. Appreciate you very much. Now, before I get started, I just want to say, hey, guys, please don't forget to like this stream. Hit subscribe if you're not subscribed. Check out that share button right down here. You can share it to your favorite social media. Would help me out a ton. Don't forget, I also have my Patreon where you can follow me and get a ton of content that I help provide, whether it be here or on someone else's page. I also upload videos directly for Patreon supporters only. You can check it out, obviously, in the description of the video down here, the link, or just go to Patreon/Lawrence Owen Colts Law. Justin, thank you for showing up. Appreciate you. Now, let's get into this, right? I mean, come on. Darius Leonard, Braden Smith, Nyheim Hines, they're all going to need extensions soon. When's the best time to do that? It's a very interesting dilemma for the Indianapolis Colts, because when they sign could dictate how much it's going to be. Yes, believe it or not, that is an actual fact that the Colts have to consider. Take Darius Leonard, for instance. This is a big, important deal. They need to sign Darius Leonard as soon as possible. Absolutely as soon as possible. Why is that, you might ask? Why can't they wait until, later on in the season or after the season's over, something before free agency starts in 2022? Well, let me explain. There are a lot of big linebacker contracts coming up very soon. At the same time, Darius Leonard. So it's a race to see who sets the market, right? You got guys like TJ Watt. I get he's an outside pass rusher, still a linebacker though, right? You got guys like Jayon Brown, who maybe not be at the same point that Darius Leonard is at, but still a very good linebacker. You don't want these guys setting the market. Let's talk about other guys out there right now that is just an absolute stud at the linebacker position that you don't want them resetting the market, because you got Fred freaking Warner out there who is going to probably reset the market. You want to be that first contract to do so without any question, because if Fred Warner gets his contract and it's like $20 million, then where's that going to put Darius Leonard? His agent's going to be like, hey, Leonard's worth as much as Fred Warner. Leonard's worth as much as TJ Watt. Leonard's worth as much as Roquan Smith. This is a situation where the Colts need to extend Leonard ASAP. Let him set the market so that other agents can argue about getting higher money for their linebacker extensions. And the Colts don't have to deal with it themselves, right? Yes, extensions can happen anytime during the season, Alpha Wolf. That is it. That is dead on. And Joseph says, yeah, we saw this play out with running backs a couple years ago. We just saw it play out now because Christian McCaffrey set the market, right? You got guys like Dalvin Cook, who was able to make a ton of extra money. that you didn't expect him to make. You got guys like the running back from the Saints. Again, tons of money. You didn't expect that to make, but because Ezekiel Elliott went big time, and then Christian McCaffrey went big time, even higher than that, now you're watching running backs get paid fat cash. Linebackers are going to be the same way because that whole group, a lot of really good linebackers were drafted right around the same time Darius Leonard was. And because of that, you need to get Darius Leonard's extension signed first. This is a very, very good question by that one guy. And I will explain that currently, now obviously Von Miller as an outside linebacker currently has the highest average per year at just over $19 million. Well, wait. Hold on. Let's not say that. Sorry. I apologize. It's Khalil Mack at $23.5 million. Then Von Miller's right below him. Okay? That's for your outside linebackers. And your inside linebackers, if you're wanting to know what that is, the most average sitting there is Bobby Wagner, another guy who plays very similar to Darius Leonard. He makes $18 million now. $18 million now. CJ Mosley makes $17 million now per year. All right? So that's a scary situation. Miles Jack just got himself an extension making $14.25 million. But there are a lot of really, really great linebackers out there. Like I said, that were drafted about the exact same time. So we need to get him signed first. Let him set the market. Because like I said, if Fred Warner sets this market, Darius Leonard might cost more money. And the Colts can't afford that because they've got a lot of really good guys. The way Ballard is drafting, he's going to need every dime that he possibly can have to make extensions to re-sign his own players. We already know Darius Leonard, and next year when Quentin Nelson gets his fifth-year option, they're going to have to extend him. He's going to reset the market. For a guard, he's got to get these kind of guys out of the way quickly. Parker asks, do I think Christian McCaffrey extension was an overpay? At the time, no. Christian McCaffrey was the guy, right, for the Panthers. He was their entire offense. You pay the entire offense, and I'm okay with what his extension was, in all honesty. Alpha says, do you think that we'll make important extensions happen during the season instead of waiting for free agent? I think it's going to happen before preseason happens this year, at least for Darius Leonard. I think Darius Leonard's extension will happen sometime between now and OTAs. I really do. At least they would be smart to do that. Wagner is the highest paid at 18, about the position that Leonard is playing. What do I think that Leonard is going to make? 18.5, probably. I think it'll be 18.5 if he signs now, because if Fred Warner signs before him, his agent's going to be asking for 19.20. So you got to do that quickly. I agree, Brian. Definitely. And yes, sign him now. Get him under contract before the other teams. It's not about getting him under contract before the Colts will sign him. I have no question about that. It's about when they sign him to try to get the money lower, right? That's why I say sign him now, before guys like Fred Warner and TJ Watt and guys like that get their extensions. Right? Now, let's move on to Braden Smith. Actually, the whole front end extensions to save cap later, I honestly do. We've got money right now that you could drop signing bonus on there, right? Front end signing bonus for Darius Leonard. That's a situation that'll help save a little bit of money later on in that contract. That's a very important thing. Now, it's going to eat up money off the cap for this year. But obviously, the Colts ain't dropping a ton of money on anyone right now. You know, all your really high-end pass rushers and offensive linemen are off the field. All your good high-end wide receivers and tight ends are off the field. You know, they're not signing them. So use the money to help for later. That's what I want to do. Let's move on to Braden Smith. Yes, I do. Yes, I do, Jordan. If I had to let one walk between Leonard or Nelson, I love Leonard, but I think I would keep Nelson. I love Leonard, but I would probably now that's going to be a toss up between two guys. I love Darius Leonard. I got Darius Leonard jersey, okay, but I would keep Nelson. But here's the deal. What about Braden Smith, right? When do we sign Braden Smith? We don't need to sign Braden Smith right away. Actually, it's probably best if we don't sign Braden Smith right now. And I'll explain. Because this draft is so deep with tackles, right? This draft is so deep in tackles that other team, it's about supply and demand. And when this draft comes out and all these teams, there's going to be a plethora of extra tackles out there in the NFL, good tackles, that the demand for tackle won't be nearly as high next year or as the season progresses as it is currently, which is why I think waiting until after the draft is better to wait for Braden Smith. Because I think his price might actually go down a little bit. I don't think it'll go up after this draft because the draft will put a fresh flood of tackles into the NFL system. And that will lower the demand of the tackles. Now, if you disagree with me, let me know. Should he get extended this year? Abso-freaking-lutely. Absolutely. But I don't know if he should be extended right now. I don't think so. There are a few right tackles out there that are as good or better than Braden Smith. I love Braden Smith, but he's not like the top right tackle in the NFL. There's a few out there that are very, very good. Okay. But so that brings us down to Nyheim Hines. When do we sign Hines? Now, this is a scary situation because, yes, our main running back is Jonathan Taylor. There's no questioning that. But Nyheim Hines has a skill set that because of his skill set, that type of running back is currently making tons of money. I mean, you just saw Alvin Kamara, who is a very similar style running back, make fat cash. Christian McCaffrey, Dalvin Cook. These are very similar running backs to Nyheim Hines. Guys who could run the football and catch the ball out of the backfield and make things happen in open space with their speed and agility, right? Now, is Hines used as much as those three running backs? No. But it's going to raise how much he's worth. I would actually wait until the mid-season to extend him because currently running backs are making fat cash. I would wait, see how that market starts to play out during the season. Because currently, I think Nyheim Hines is going to get $8+ million from somebody if he's left to go out into the free agent market next year. The Colts won't be able to afford him. We've seen what teams will offer guys with his skill sets. Yes, and he returns punts. Ant Rodgers, very good observation there. No, Jordan, I don't see him going to slot receiver because he's still very good at running the football as well. The thing about Nyheim Hines is that makes him so dangerous is that if you line him up at running back, a linebacker has to be put on him. You can't put up a cornerback on him. Now, if you drop him in the slot and make him just a slot receiver, then cornerbacks are on him. But if you put him at running back and then move him out, that linebacker has to move with him. And that makes it a massive mismatch. That's why I like habit like that. All right. Hines has been top 3 in the Colts in receptions. It's true. I mean, he led the team in receptions last season. All right. It's a $7 million. I get that. I don't think Marlon Mack will be with the Colts next year. I think he's got a chance this year to prove that he's very good. At least bounce back from that Achilles tear. He'll probably get a lot bigger contract if he shows that he can bounce back from that Achilles tear. Otherwise, he won't be that much to keep and re-sign. I think we can extend Hines for less than what the market value would be if we extend him before the end of the season. I could see the Colts giving Hines $6 million and Hines would stay. I'd be okay with that because Taylor, he's still got 3 years left on his contract, right? So I have no problem with that. Jordan Wilkins might walk. We might lose Wilkins after this year because he, again, really good running back, in my opinion. I think he's an incredibly underrated running back. I think he's a guy that's going to move off, kind of like what Donald Brown happened, right? Remember Donald Brown? He moved off, didn't do as well with the Chargers, but I think that that the guy right now will probably do a very good job. Anyhow, Hines is definitely a Swiss Army knife, yes. Darren Sproles, yeah, kind of in that same aspect, yes. Very much so. There's a lot of running backs out there that are very similar to what Nyheim Hines in the history of the NFL, and even right now, currently, right? So, yeah. As I'm saying, it's different times that you want to sign these guys. Different points of the season. Leonard, you can't waste time with. Without any question. You have to sign him ASAP. Because if you wait, those other really good linebackers out there are going to get paid. I mean, paid a lot. So, what are you guys expecting? Don't forget, Roquan Smith, he's due for a contract extension the exact same year. Very similar linebacker. You got a ton of linebackers out there that can set the market with Darius. That's why you use Darius to set the market. And that way you ain't got to pay him that extra money. There's some contracts that's been thrown out there for Darius Leonard. $18.5 million a year, 5-year deal, $40 million guaranteed. I've seen stuff around that vicinity. And I could honestly see that. Ant says that he's expecting Darius to get a contract right after the draft. I would not be surprised if that happens. Jordan, we're so spoiled. I trust Ballard more than I ever trusted Polian. And man, did I trust Polian. Yes, you can see some holdouts. That is true. But I don't think that Darius will hold out. Darius loves the Colts. And I think, and Jim Irsay and Chris Ballard want to re-sign their own. So we know that's going to happen. And I think it could legitimately come out. And I agree with you, Justin. I think Jordan Wilkins could be a starter on quite a few teams out there right now. Most definitely. All right, we're 21 minutes in. Don't forget, smash that like button. There's 25 of you in here that I can see. Hit subscribe if you're not subscribed. Share the stream. Appreciate you. And then don't forget my Patreon. I've only got 3 patrons right now. Excuse me. It's only $5 a month. You can go check it out. Description in this, in the link in the description of this video. You get everything that I bring on here, plus, stuff that I bring from Dear Pats Nation or other channels like Quincy Carrier or something like that. When I join other people, Bring the Juice podcast. All of my stuff is put right there. Plus, I put out a video about once a week, specifically only for Patreon supporters. And it says, I am one of your patrons. That's awesome. Thank you. You also said that you don't think Hines has missed a game due to injury. I don't know. Let me look at this. Let me get to this real quick. La 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 la. Game started. Yeah, he's played 16 games all year. 2018, 2019, 2020. 16 straight games. He hasn't missed a game yet. That's impressive. For as little a dude as he is, I mean, he's a little tiny quick sucker, right? And he ain't missed a game yet in his career in the 3 years he's been in the NFL. Holy crap. Wow. And he averages 4 yards a carry for as small as he is. That's impressive. He's averaging around 55 catches a season, around 400 yards a year, and 2 touchdowns receiving a year. And his catch percentage for his career is right under 80% catch completion percentage. That's so impressive. Holy crap. Unbelievable. Very, very good. Jordan, thanks a lot. Appreciate that. Thank you so much, Jason, for sharing. I appreciate it. So, what do we got? What do we got going? I think that with the Colts currently right now, we got to remember, we got to save back about $6 million for signing our draft picks, right? Because the draft picks cost money to sign. Now, it's about $6 million to sign all of them. That's even if we trade back because of what the Colts currently have in value. Now, if Indy signs another I mean, you also got to remember they got to sign a bunch of other guys to fill out the 93-man roster, right? For OTAs and preseason stuff like that. So you got to put a little bit of money back for that. Ballard is amazing at getting guys. I mean, the Colts have the least amount of dead cap space in the NFL because they fill their roster with to get to 93. They fill them with really low minimum contract guys. And you don't end up getting rid of somebody that you bumped a lot of money in there. So I'm just saying. Here's interesting, Sarah. I would give Hines 4 years, 24 mil. Oh, that's $6 million a year. That's not bad. Leonard, 19 mil a year for 5 years, and Nelson 21 a mil for 5, and Smith 14. That's not bad. That's not terrible. I honestly think Nelson could be re-signed for less than 21 because he's a guard, but that's still not a shabby number. That's generally within a couple million of where a lot of people think that, you know, he could be signed. All these guys that you got sitting here, plus and minus. But that's a lot of money. That is a ton of money. And that's going to eat our cap space, which means, you know, people want us to go out and get high-end defensive ends or high-end left tackles or something like. You got to remember, Ballard has to use money to bring people in too. But if he continues to draft the way he's been drafting, that's a way to get away from something like that. You're right. You're right. It is. It is the least dead cap of the NFL. We've got like 9 people taking our dead cap space, but it's all so little. Hold on. Let me go look at this real quick. Let me go look at our dead cap right now. Where is that? I'm trying to look. We got active contracts. I'm having problems here. I can't seem to find out where I'm wanting to find this on here because there's a number. Well, hold on. Maybe it's OTC. Hold on. I'm sorry, ladies and gentlemen. I'm just kind of. The biggest dead money we have on our roster right now is Robert Windsor, $130,518. The total dead cap we have is $237,143. That's total dead cap we have. That's how good Chris Ballard is at figuring out contracts and getting the right guys. That's impressive. That's just absolutely impressive. What's up, Jonathan Stringer? Appreciate you there from England. He asks, if a blue chip fell to us at 21 who wasn't a defensive end or offensive tackle, would Ballard take him? It depends. If a blue chip quarterback fell, maybe. I understand we got Carson Wentz, but blue chip quarterbacks are blue chip quarterbacks. You grab whatever you can. A blue chip running back, maybe not, because of the depth that we already have at running back. A blue chip wide receiver, possibly. Cornerback, possibly. You know, there are certain positions that I think he would grab a really, really, really good guy, even if the position is full. And some of them I don't think he would. It's really bad when the Ravens didn't re-sign Snead. He was solid, signed 1-year deal with the Raiders. I know. Snead was a very good wide. He was one of the better ones that they had. Plus, he could run block, right? And that was very, very surprising. You know, the biggest surprising to me that was how the Dolphins just went around trading everywhere today. Did you guys see that? That was impressive as heck. The Niners moved up to the third pick, trading with the Dolphins. The Dolphins get 2 extra first-round picks out of it. Then they used one of those first-round picks and moved back to the 6th spot. Okay? So they moved back 3 spaces, gained an extra first-round pick, basically. That was impressive. Very impressive. And that also means the Niners, they don't expect Jimmy Garoppolo to be their starting quarterback for much longer. I mean, the way the NFC, we got to play this division this year. The Colts have to play this division this year. We thought, J.J. Watt's getting traded. We won't have to face him no more. He's with the Arizona Cardinals now. Crap, we play them this year, right? We just played Matt Stafford, who threw all over the Indianapolis Colts. Had a ton of yards. Yes, he had a couple picks, but he had a ton of yards on a crap team. Oh, good, we don't have to play him. Oh, crap, he's on the Rams now with a whole lot better team. We got to play him this year, right? San Francisco just traded up. They got a team very similar to the Colts and going to go out and get somebody, probably at quarterback. We got to play them this year. The Seattle Seahawks, Russell Wilson, right? That man can put on a show offensively. We got to play them this year. Not to mention the Dolphins being very, very smart at what they're doing. They're just moving around the draft, gaining draft picks and stuff. They're at the 6th pick. They're in a position that if they want to grab a wide receiver for Tua, they could grab the best wide receiver in the NFL in this draft, because it looks like the top 5 will be all quarterbacks. New England went out and got $1.5 billion free agents. I'm doing a Jonnu Smith film room right now. Jonnu Smith is nasty. Go check out my I'm going to drop it as soon as it drops on Dear Pats Nation. It'll be on my I just hit my stupid guard. I'm going to drop it on my thing on my Patreon. So you got to pay. You'll love it. Jonnu Smith is amazing. We all know this, though, because, the Colts played him twice a year. But holy crap. So the AFC East, we're playing against them. Buffalo again. We get the rematch with Buffalo. That'll be nice. New England. Miami looks really good. The Jets, we don't know what they're going to look like this year. We got one of the toughest divisions in the NFL. One of the toughest schedules in the NFL that we're going to have to play. So, yeah. Jordan Graff says Trey Lance with Shanahan would be absolutely terrifying. I can't disagree with that. I cannot disagree with that. And this is a very tough schedule for the Colts. So Ballard has to smash this draft, not only at left tackle, but at defensive end as well. We need to get those positions locked down. That's interesting. 4 years in a row because of the position where we've been at. We've been kind of equal with the Raiders over the last 4 years. Yeah. Except for 3 years ago when we had to play them, or 2 years ago when we had to play them because we played the AFC West. Yeah. Matthew Parker asked, what are my thoughts on the Colts' showing interest in Richard Sherman? I'd be okay with bringing Richard Sherman in. He's very good in zone defense, which would help out the younger players like Marvell Tell and Rock Ya-Sin and stuff like that. Yes, we re-signed Xavier Rhodes to a 1-year deal, but having another veteran there would be nice. Obviously, having another veteran out there I mean, TJ Carey played pretty good last year, so I'd be okay with bringing Richard as long as he doesn't cost a ton of money. I don't want to pay Richard Sherman $9 million. All right. I don't want to pay Richard Sherman $8 million. I'll give him $7. I think he's good enough to be $7 million, but I don't think that he's worth more than that. Not play wise. His biggest impact would be what he does for the locker room and how he brings the toughness and swag, right? I'd grab Phillips. If Phillips is there at 21, I'd grab him because I think he's a blue chip defensive end. And I understand. I like Darisaw as well, but you'd be able to grab a very good starting guy in the second round, in my opinion, for tackle. Whereas in the second round, you would not be able to get a very good starting defensive end. And we don't even have a third round pick this year. And that's why if Phillips was there or Greg, his guy opposite him in Miami was there at 21, either one of them, I'd snag them up in a heartbeat. Yeah, because Greg and Phillips, in my opinion, are the top two guys, I think, as a defensive end in this draft. Well, here's the thing also. Houston's still out there. I don't think Houston's even signed with anyone yet. He may come back. All right. We may end up getting Houston back for $7-8 million for a one single season, kind of like what we did with Xavier Rhodes, which is fine. I'm good with that. Giles, I appreciate it. I appreciate that. Your thoughts on Sherman? You don't like the mouth, but you don't mind that he backs it up. Does he still got it at 33? I think so. Yes. He's not top dog in the NFL, but he'd be better. He'd be better as just that locker room guy to help, like I said, bring up guys. All right. Interesting question. Guys, I really haven't looked at the cornerbacks right now in this draft, so I can't give you an option on that. Okay? A guy who has been big into that, and I can direct you to people who have looked at these guys, go check out the Man-to-Man pod. All right? Just let you know that. That's Darius Butler and Antoine Bethea, former defensive backs for the Indianapolis Colts. They have a podcast here on YouTube called the Man-to-Man pod. They talk to a lot of guys. They know a lot about the draft as well, especially at the defensive back position. So go check them out, man. I'm not going to give you BS because I don't know what in the world's going on. I'm going to be honest with you. I really have not looked at the cornerbacks. So I'm sorry about that. But I need a drink. Holy crap. 32 of you in here. Don't forget to smash that like button. There's a lot of questions. Carson Wentz going off this year. I could see it as long as our wide receivers stay healthy. We've had an issue with receivers and health on the offense in general over the last many years. T.Y. Hilton's been dealing with injuries the last 3 years, especially later on in seasons. Paris Campbell's had issues. Even Michael Pittman Jr., had to have surgery on his calf, right? Missed a few games last year. If the Colts wide receivers can stay healthy, I think Carson Wentz will be just fine. That's what I'm thinking. But yeah, I love the fact that, in my opinion, the Colts are set up right now as long as Ballard again hammers this draft, right? I think that he needs to sign Darius Leonard right away to save money long term. Don't let guys like Fred Warner or Roquan Smith set the market at linebacker. Don't worry about Nyheim Hines as much. You can sign him during the season. Same with Braden Smith. Make sure you wait till after the draft before you sign him, because a lot of teams will look like they have fixed their tackle position with the draft. I would sign him before the season starts, but after the draft. That way you're looking and, the Colts can go, well, look, these guys fixed. All these teams who need these tackles have fixed their spots by drafting people in this draft. You're not needed as much in this upcoming free agency. Maybe we can get you on a lesser deal, right? Than what you would have expected. So yeah, it's all about timing, in my opinion, with this. I assume you're talking about Al-Qadim, Anthony. Good question. He hasn't signed it yet, but they did put that restricted tag on him, but he just hasn't signed yet. That's all it is. So there's a good chance that he'll be back as well. Interesting thought process. Do I think Sam Tebby could be a starter like Mark Glowinski? At first, nobody knows about them in the Colts. Okay, so I did that film room on Sam Tebby. I don't know if you looked at it. And it's possible. I wouldn't want him long term. It worries me long term because he does not protect the inside very well. He's okay against the bull rush. He's okay against the speed rush. But because he lacks a little bit of strength, he has to use a lot of technique to stop the bull rush and the outside rush, which leaves him susceptible to inside moves, right? Like a swim move or a spin move or something like that on the inside, leaves him a little bit susceptible. Go check out my Sam Tebby film room if you haven't already. But if he plays well, like let's say he has to start early on and he plays well, maybe give him a shot, right? But to be fair, he gave up a lot of pressures and sacks last season for the Chargers. So I'm a little worried about that. But then again, the Chargers didn't have Quentin Nelson to give help on the inside. And Quentin Nelson can do that. So just let you know. Matthew Parker says, I know this isn't a Colts question, but do you think someone will make an offer on J.C. Jackson? No. I think the Patriots, they probably will, but I think Jackson ends up re-signing with the Patriots. I really do. I think that the Patriots are going to end up trying to trade Stephon Gilmore to free up a little bit of cap space, a little more cap space, and then sign J.C. Jackson to a long-term deal. But guys, I've been on here 43 minutes. I think I have covered the majority of bases, and especially what I wanted to talk about originally. If you like the stream, please smash that like button. If you have any other questions, leave it in the comments. Don't forget to share the stream. And again, check out my Patreon. I've only got 3. I'd appreciate any extra support that you guys would give me, because it'll help me get more software. It'll help me get more hardware, upgrade my stuff. That way my content is even better for you guys. So appreciate all of you. Thank you so much. And until next time, I'm Lawrence Owen. This is Colts Law. And as usual, I want you to have a good one.
All right. So I guess now you understand what the plan was.
Absolutely. At Colts Law, we talk Indianapolis Colts football.